free world.
Yeah. My hitters be moving and shaking and stay out the streets. Yeah. Your hitters be hating, your hitters be looking so weak. Yeah. My hitters be moving and shaking and stay out the streets. Yeah. Your hitters be hating, your hitters be looking so. Snuff the shooter, snuff the looter, snuff the booster, snuff the money mover. Snuff the hater, snuff the player, snuff your hairline, tape up and shape up. Snuff the shooter, snuff the looter, snuff the booster.
Hail to the culture. We're back once again for a great episode with our Redskins facing the Philadelphia Eagles on a Monday night. Yes, we know. We're not the greatest in prime time, but I think we got a shot. Rome, what you feel, man? How you feeling about this game?
Man, this has been a game that I had circled on the calendar when the schedule released. I didn't have good feelings about this game in the beginning of the season, and I'll be honest, man, I'm not feeling too great about it heading into it right now, but hope is still alive. We positioned ourselves very well in the beginning of the season, and it's not over, man. I know it seems over after Dallas beat the Saints, but it's not over.
It is not over. It's definitely not over, and once again, we thank everybody for tuning in. We know it might be a little rough moment right now, but keep faith, keep hope alive, Redskins Nation, because it can turn around with the victory on Monday night. So let's jump right into it, Rome. Let's jump into these Cowboys. Let's jump into these Cowboys right now, because that win against the Saints, I mean, it kind of changes our playoff outlook as well as Dallas's. What did you think about that game, and what did you come away feeling? You know, what was your takeaways from Dallas? You know, how did you feel after you saw that performance?
Well, my biggest takeaway was more so about what the Saints didn't do on defense. The Saints' defense couldn't get off the field, kind of the same way the Redskins' defense couldn't get off the field on Thanksgiving, man. Dallas is becoming this dangerous team on third down, which is the only thing that really gives me cause to pause when I'm looking at them is if they can't get off the field, if you can't get them off the field on third down, they can keep running Zeke, keeping your team off the field, then they might be kind of dangerous come playoff time. But to me, it was more so about what the Saints didn't do, man. Like Drew Brees and them, 10 points, like that's an anomaly. You're not going to see that happen again this year.
Yeah, I mean that's a fact, man. Especially when they lit us up for 50, 52. You know, lit up. What did they do? 52 scored same amount on the Eagles, darn near, and you definitely didn't expect the Cowboys to come out there and hold them to that, just 10 points. I mean, it's kind of crazy to think. I mean, the Cowboys' defense that legit, Ron? What do you think?
Yeah, man, I don't know, man. It's tough to say. The Cowboys' defense has been playing well all season, but like I'm kind of leaning more towards, man, you're not going to hold Drew Brees and the Saints to 10 points. Like I think that's more so Saints just laid an egg than Dallas defense being that crazy.
Yeah, I tend to lean on that side with you as well. But one thing I will say, and you know, I'm not here to call anything rigged, but I think this is back-to-back weeks that the Cowboys getting away with head-to-head contact on guys. You know what I mean? Everyone's seen that first down. Cole Beasley's knee was clearly down. Now, of course, that's on Sean Payton for getting rid of his timeout so early. But it seems like, you know, if my eyes aren't mistaking me, I would say that the league likes seeing the Cowboys in this position. Am I the only one seeing that, Rome, or have you seen a little bit of those refs, you know, erring on the side of the Cowboys?
Yeah, I don't want to go down the whole rigged path, but it's definitely fishy, man. It's definitely fishy. That hit that Jalen Smith had on Kamara, I don't know how you don't call that, just like I don't know how they didn't call the helmet on Jordan Reed. The pass interference when we played them, I don't know how they don't call that. There's a pass interference call that got missed on Michael Thomas where Byron Jones is basically tackling them while the ball's still in the air. So, I mean, it's not completely made up. This isn't some crazy conspiracy. I think there is a little bit of truth behind all these claims of the refs being a little one-sided. But, I mean, like, I've never been the one to think that a national sporting event could be rigged. That's pretty intricate. A lot has to go right for that to happen. But it's definitely fishy.
Yeah, it's definitely fishy, man. So, you know, let's keep it pushing, man. Enough about these Cowboys, man. Let's jump into the state of the culture. Let's jump into our team, the Washington Redskins, and let's start with Alex Smith, our quarterback, our now injured out for the season quarterback. And let's discuss his future a little bit, Rome. The Redskins are in a very difficult spot right now. They have a lot of money tied into Alex Smith. They've got guaranteed money going out to him these next couple years. And now he's in a position where this injury could not only be, threatening his next season, but it could be career-threatening. And we're talking about guaranteed money. That's money that's going to roll over regardless. Oh, man, it could get really, really tough right now for the Redskins. They got to really come up with a plan. If you had to say a plan for the Redskins quarterbacking going forward, like what would you like to see them do?
All right, well, this is where I'm going to start. When Alex Smith first came to the team, like as I've said in the past, like I was ecstatic about it. I like to move a lot. Now, as it happens in football, in most sports, really any contact sport, injuries occur. So as good as a move as this appeared to be when we first made it, this injury makes the move almost crippling. So there's conflicting reports. The team is saying that his recovery is 6 to 8 months. I saw another report that's saying it's 10 to 12 months. If it's 10 to 12 months, that puts him out until about this time next year, meaning he misses all of 2019. So that puts you in a very hard spot if you're Washington, because then it's, do you go get another quarterback for 2019? Because you're still going to end up having to pay Alex in 2019 and probably 2020. So do you get like a one-year stopgap quarterback, or do you go in the draft? Do you try to get someone younger? And that's what the conflicting reports. So if they're operating as if he's going to be back, they might not make a move, They might not go get another quarterback. They might think he's going to be ready for the season. So there's a lot to unpack with this Alex Smith stuff. I can't really say what I would do right now. I need to hear more about his injury and his recovery process before I could make a definitive take on that. But the future, the Alex Smith future, this is a question that we'll be coming back to, I feel like, a few times the rest of this season and definitely this off season.
Yeah, definitely, man. Let me just piggyback on that a little bit. When we got Alex Smith, I was feeling similar to you, man. Maybe I wasn't as ecstatic, but I felt like it was a solid move. But one thing that I always wanted us to do, Alex Smith injury or not, I was looking for us to draft a quarterback. That was high on my priority list of this upcoming offseason. I felt like from the beginning, just look at the Chiefs with Mahomes and Smith. He ushered the Mahomes era in perfectly. I always wanted us to get a quarterback to start grooming, start developing, get into the system. And now I think that just shoots up the list of priorities even further. And to where it might have been third or fourth on my list, now it's maybe first or second. And we'll see how this Alex Smith injury continues to proceed. But the way it's looking, and the way it looked, that's a serious injury, a broken leg. It's nothing to play with, and that could easily be an entire year out. So hopefully we have a plan. And I believe we will. And I do trust Jay Gruden, and that's one thing Jay Gruden's never been able to do as the Redskins coach. He's never been able to handpick his quarterback. And I think this will be a good opportunity for him, because if he's able to handpick his quarterback, then there's literally no excuses. He got the defensive coordinator excuse. He's already got a couple other excuses. He got the injury excuse for a couple seasons. If you are able to handpick your quarterback, that's the only thing he hasn't been able to do. And if he handpicks his quarterback and still can't win, then maybe it's time to point the finger at Jay. So let's keep it pushing through the state of the culture, though, man. Another big move by the Redskins was claiming Reuben Foster off of waivers, and this is after a domestic violence incident, which he was arrested for, which he was charged for. Rome, where do you stand on this move made by the Skins, man? This is interesting. This is interesting, right? To say the least.
Man, is it ever, man? There's a lot to unpack here. But before I say anything publicly, I want to come out and say I am 1,000% against domestic violence in any way, form, or fashion. That means if it's a woman hitting a man hitting a woman, I'm not with it. I don't condone it. I don't think anyone condones it, really. Most people wouldn't condone anything like that. So with that being said, if Reuben Foster is found guilty of this last charge, this last domestic violence charge, where he's being accused of slapping the phone out of the girl's hand, pushing her, and slapping her with an open hand in the face, then he's got to go. he's got to go. Like, there's no way, no reason. He doesn't need to be on the team, doesn't need to play in the league, in my opinion. But with that said, people get really sensitive about these types of cases, and I understand that. It can be a sensitive subject. But I've always been one to kind of lean on the side, and I know we don't have a perfect justice system, but you got to let certain things play out. The same girl that's accusing him now accused him before and recanted the whole charge, saying that she lied and made up the story to hurt him and ruin his career. Now, I know that some cases of domestic abuse, the girls will do that even though they are being abused. So I don't know the situation. I don't know Ruben. I don't know, you know what I'm saying? I'm not part of that thing to say what did or what didn't happen. But I just think people need to let the legal process play out. He was accused before, but it got recanted. So I just feel like no one wants to mention that she lied on him before. So, I mean, and I think the Redskins pretty much summed it up in their statement, too. He may never play for the Skins. If he's found guilty, he's going to be cut, and we get nothing out of it. So I think people are up in arms because, you know, the timing of the situation. He just got arrested on, like, Saturday. We picked him up on Monday. So that's a bad look. But, I mean, if he's not guilty, man, I think he deserves another shot. If he's guilty, then he doesn't. And it's pretty much as simple as that to me. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, man, like you said, I mean, you pretty much hit all the points, man. Like you said, it's a sensitive topic, and rightfully so. It's something that should never happen. Like you said, either way, man hitting a woman, woman hitting a man in a domestic situation, it should never ever happen. It's even more of a tricky situation when you're talking about somebody that's recanted a statement before. It makes it even trickier. It's like who are you supposed to believe? What are you supposed to listen to? I agree with you. I mean, we have our justice system for a reason, and you have to let these things play out in the court of law the way they're supposed to, and then you judge from there. I always try not to be the judge and jury when I see things come out, because you never know the backstories. You never know anything, right? We haven't seen any pictures. We don't see a video. You know what I mean? It's not one of those things where we have answers. All we know is what's happened now and what's happened in the past. And if you weigh those two things together, you see why a team may be inclined to take a chance on a talent like Reuben Foster, even when this happens, because the last time this happened, it was actually nothing. So, you know what I mean? I always like to err on the side of caution when there's no evidence. But at the end of the day, Reuben Foster was walking on thin ice. And it's clearly a lapse in judgment to still be dealing with the same girlfriend that tried to ruin your career with a recanted statement. So that just right there, that shows a lack of judgment on Reuben Foster's part, which would make you question if he is fit to continue his career, you know what I mean? Or maybe he has other things he needs to focus on first. And those are the type of decisions you're still making. But even with that said, I can't necessarily fault any team that would have took a flyer on him just because of the past issues and past history with this same person accusing him. You never know. This could just be another plotted trying to ruin his career. But at the same time, if I was the head of a team, I personally wouldn't have made the move. Let me make that clear. I would not have made that move for Reuben Foster. But it is what it is, and we move forward.
Yeah, I would have to agree with you. If I'm in charge, I'm not making the move when they made it. It was way too soon. He just got arrested. I mean, I get it. You don't want anyone else to put the claim on him. You want to still be able to get him, but no one else put a claim out there. So, I mean, it makes Washington look terrible, foolish. Dan Snyder and Bruce Allen, where are you guys at? Like, I need to hear a direct statement from you guys. Stop letting Jay and Doug fall on the sword for you in this type of situation, because obviously this is such a big deal that it has to come from the top. It's not. I don't even know how much Jay had to really do with it, judging off the press conference. So I would really like to hear something from Bruce and Dan and where they stand on this. And it'll be crazy because I believe Reuben's court date is in January. So if he is found guilty, it's going to be even more of a PR hit for Washington. So, and Jay Gruden even said it in his press conference, if he is found guilty and they cut him, what does Washington get out of this? And the answer was nothing. So we'll see, man. We'll see come January.
Yeah, we will. It's a crazy situation, man. So we will see what happens, and we'll definitely keep a close eye on it, and we'll be updating you all for sure. So let's keep it pushing, man. Let's run through some injury news with this upcoming game in Philly. We got CT25 coming back, man, and that's a big deal whenever you get Chris Thompson back on the field, Rome. What do you think that could bring, and do you expect him to play Monday night?
Well, when we first started the pod today, man, we said keep hope alive, man, and I'm going to be honest, Thompson's the reason we need to keep it alive, man. He's on track to play, and I believe Jamison Crowder's also on track to play. Those are our two biggest playmakers not named Jordan Reed, and they have not been on the field for the majority of the season, and they all three haven't been on the field together for the majority of the season. So I know Colt McCoy is the backup, but I think with these weapons on the field, man, that'll change a lot and open up some things.
Yeah, man. It would be nice to see. With Jamison coming back as well, that could be big, man. That could be big, especially with the emergence of, Trey Quinn. You get those guys on the field at the same time, you could have a little bit of speed on the field, especially with Thompson coming out the backfield. It'd be interesting to see how the Skins use them if they are able to get Quinn and Crowder on the field at the same time. So I really do think that could be a matchup nightmare. So let's keep it pushing. Let's go through the NFC East. Let's do an NFC East roundup. Now, like we talked about to start off the pod, Dallas is now in the driver's seat. I mean, at least unless the Skins get this win Monday night, of course, then it's back to tie. But with that win on the Saints, man, what would you say the outlook of Dallas is? Like a lot of people are calling playoffs for the Cowboys. They're talking about they're a legit contender now after that win. Are you buying that or are you selling that, Rome?
Oh, I'm selling that, man. I am selling that. So I got this friend. He's a Cowboys fan or whatever, and right after they won that Saints game, he follows this little like Cowboys page or whatever. And they're talking Super Bowl already, man. We're Super Bowl contenders. We done beat the Saints, man. Like everyone needs to pump the brakes on Dallas. It was a good win, a good home win. But even if you see them in the playoffs, you're likely going to have to see them in New Orleans. That's going to be a whole other animal. It was definitely a good regular season win, and Dallas is definitely – the Amari Cooper trade is looking better and better by the day. So I'm not going to throw shade on them. They are in the driver's seat, and it's their division to lose. It's definitely their division to lose.
Yeah, it's crazy how things change because just a couple weeks ago it looked like that was the position we were in. So now, I mean, let's keep it going, man. Let's talk about the Giants. What is wrong with the Giants? Now, I'm going to say one thing. In that last game against the Eagles, they got up 12-0, man. They showed some fight, and I was surprised. And I even mentioned in my NFC's power rankings, I said that's to be commended because if you're willing to go out there and still fight when your season's going the way it is and make the Eagles come back the way they had to come back to claw to win that game, I was kind of impressed. But what's going wrong with their season, man? You look at them on paper, you would think they could make some noise. Ron, how would you categorize their season in a nutshell?
Yeah, man. I if you guys pay attention to me, like I put a lot of pressure on Gruden when things don't go right for the Redskins. So I'm gonna do the same here with the Giants, man. When you look at all that talent that they have on offense and they have a good amount of talent on defense, this should be a better team, man. Period. Like I put this on Schumer. The way that he handles the media, the way that his relationship is with Odell, their little back and forth and stuff, he's got to get that thing together, man. Like there's no reason that the Giants should be under 6 wins. Like I don't think that they're like a great team, but they're a 6-win team at least with that talent. You got Saquon, you got Evan Ingram, you got all these guys, man. They should be doing a lot better. So I'm putting that on. I think Shermer was the wrong choice of coach, and I think that's what went wrong with their season.
Yeah, man, I'd have to agree with you, man. There's a lot. There's enough talent on that Giants team to make noise, man. And even on offense, and you see what good offenses can do. And I don't think Eli has done as people are trying to make it out to seem. I mean, he's not in his prime, that's for sure, but he's not trash. And the Giants they haven't been able to put together wins. And a part of that, you got to blame coaching, especially when you're losing close games. I mean, you got to point at coaching. You can't blame that on. If you're losing ton of close games, you cannot blame that on the players. You got to point your fingers on strategy, and that's what I'd say for the Giants as well. So with that said, man, NFC East power rankings as it currently stands, we've got the Dallas Cowboys number 1, the Washington Redskins number 2, the Philadelphia Eagles number 3, and the New York Giants number 4. And of course, this is all pending the Monday night football game. So hopefully the Skins come out and ball out. So let's jump into some matchups, some key matchups heading into that Monday night. Rome, what will be your first key matchup going against the Philadelphia Eagles?
All right, my key matchup for the Eagles game, and I've been keeping a close eye on this one. I've been looking at some All-22 from last year, and my key matchup, I'm going to have to call out my guy here, is DJ Swearinger on Zach Ertz, my bad, Zach Ertz. Last season, Zach Ertz was killing us, man, left and right. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but I want to say he accounted for like 31% of Carson Wentz's yardage. He only had one touchdown in the 2 games against us, but he was a killer, man, especially in one-on-one situations with DJ Swearinger. So Swearinger's been having an all-pro year this year. I'm going to need him to have his best game Monday against Eagles. I need him to step up. If he's one-on-one with Ertz, I felt like that was a matchup that Philly was favoring last year. I felt like that's what they wanted. They wanted to get Ertz on the island with Swearinger. So if that's the case this year, man, I'm going to need Two Spoons to do his thing, man. I'm going to need him to come away with some picks, maybe force another fumble or something. But he's got to be the leader of the defense, and we got to get back to turning the ball over if we have any chance against Philly.
Absolutely, man. I could not have said that better myself, man. The defense has got to get back to turning the ball over. And not only that, they've got to get back to stopping the run. If Josh Adams gets over 70 yards, I will be pissed. I'm just letting everybody know.
Who?
Exactly. Who is the real question? Who is this guy? You know what I mean? Like, then, and if you look at it, the past few games, I mean, don't get me wrong, Ezekiel Elliott's not a no-name, but we held Zeke to 30 yards the first time we faced them. And, I mean, Peyton Barber looked like a beast against us. Ito Smith looked like friggin' Emmitt Smith. You know what I mean? And I need us to get back to our ways of stopping the run. Because when we were stopping the run, those first, 6 games to start the season, 5, 6 games, we were a top 3 unit in the league. And, I mean, don't get me wrong, everyone's asked me, Bryce, why do you think we're not stopping the run right now, in my Redskins circles? And what I've been telling guys is, look, our young guys, we have a young defensive front, namely Jonathan Allen and Daron Payne. Daron Payne is fresh off of a college season where max games you have, and you only play this many games if you do go all the way, is 12, 13 games? Well, now you're playing 16 with a preseason. So you got about 19 games of work now. And that's just a different transition for a player. You know what I mean? And someone might say, well, what about Jonathan Allen? You got to remember, Allen only played 5 games, so he missed, 11 games last year? So, I mean, they're not yet ready for that full grind. Don't get me wrong, they're getting there, and I think, and Jonathan Allen especially has picked up these last couple weeks. But for a minute there, they were stagnated just a little bit. And in those moments, you saw Matt Ioannidis still continue to perform. That's because he's used to that 16-game grind now. But once those guys all get up to that speed, they're all able to handle that full 16-game grind of the NFL season. We'll see our defensive front performing like they did in the first 6 games. We'll see that all season going forward after this year, I truly believe. But, we need our Alabama boys to kick it back up a notch because we need that front 7. That front 7 is the key to our victories, especially early in the season. When that front 7 was balling, man, we weren't unbeatable, but we were a tough out for any team. And that's what we got to get back to. So that's definitely my key matchup is our front 7 defending the run. And I know, look, Philly's not the best run team, but that's my key matchup. Let's stop that run. And Carson Wentz, he's one-dimensional. He's a lot worse of a ball player.
Agreed, man, agreed. Another thing I noticed from last year's matchup that I think will help us this year is we got Carson Wentz when he was balling. I'm talking pre-injury. He was running around doing all kinds of stuff. He ain't doing that this year. So if that's going to be a little bit less, I think that takes away a bit of the big playability. So, I mean, definitely keep hope alive, Skins fans. Like this, don't be surprised if we break our Monday night curse.
Yeah, that would be lit, man. That one play still replays in my head, man, when Carson Wentz was in the pocket. It looked like we had a short sack, and this dude just ducked, did a full squat under the entire defensive and offensive lines that were forming a pile, and somehow squirted out of the pile and ran for like 40 yards or something, man. Oh, my gosh, man. You guys know what play I'm talking about, man. Yeah.
I'm
crazy.
visioning it in my head right now, man. It's ridiculous.
Ridiculous, exactly. So let's jump around the league, man. Let's jump around the league. I mean, we got to talk about it. It's the biggest news in the NFL right now. We won't spend too much time on it. But one of the best running backs in the NFL has been dropped from his team, Kareem Hunt. If you haven't seen the video, just go look at it for a reference point. I'm warning you, it may be rough on the eyes. But Kareem Hunt was involved in an assault, and the video has come out, and he's now been released subsequently from the Kansas City Chiefs. Rome, we won't spend too much time on it, but just give your quick thoughts.
My quick thoughts is kind of like the Reuben Foster situation, man. Like you were saying about that, there's no video of it, so there's no definitive evidence. But whenever you can see a definitive thing like this, where Kareem Hunt is there's people trying to hold him back from doing what he's doing. He shoves her a little bit, runs into her, and comes back and kicks her. Like, that's 3 different times that you basically assaulted the person. Like, you got to know when to walk away. And I know there's reports saying that she used racial slurs, and I don't condone that either. I've been in that situation to where someone's using a racial slur at me, and you have to know when to walk away. You just have to know when to walk away. It's not easy. It's definitely not easy. But Kareem Hunt is a high profile football player, like you said, one of the best players, one of the best running backs in the league. So I mean, you just got to be smarter than that, man.
Yeah, nah, absolutely. I agree 100%, man. Terrible that it happened. But at the end of the day, you got to be way smarter than as a person, you know, not just as an athlete. Everyone always says, "Oh man, if you're an athlete, as a person." It's just not something. You got to have restraint. And you let people get dealt with the way they get dealt with in today's time. If someone's using a racial slur, pull out your phone, record them, post it on Twitter, post it on Instagram. We see how that moves now. You can get that person fired from their job that way. You never know. You know what I mean? There's other ways to go about it now, and violence is never the answer in any situation. So, I mean, it's in my nature to always wish the best to everybody, so I wish the best to Kareem Hunt. But at the end of the day, it's inexcusable, and I think the Chiefs did the right thing. I'd have to say the Chiefs did the right thing, especially looking at the video. And but that does not in any way condone any sort of racial slurs or anything like that. Like, you know, that person needs to be dealt with as well, just not in that way. Yeah,
definitely not in that way. Because if they're using racial slurs, you don't want to make them look right.
Yeah, definitely. So let's continue around the league, man. Get into some more positive notes. With Drew Brees' performance, Kareem Hunt's former teammate Patrick Mahomes might have just thrusted himself into first place in the MVP race. How do you feel about that? Do you think that performance from Drew Brees makes Patrick Mahomes the number 1 for the MVP right now?
Man, it's tough to say, man. I would probably give Patrick Mahomes the slight edge today because of that loss, but I'm still thinking Drew Brees is going to end the season strong, and we'll see how the Chiefs do this weekend. I know we're moving on from the Kareem Hunt issue, but to tie it into football a little bit, he was practicing all week this week. You know what I mean? The game, he just got released basically yesterday, and the game is on Sunday. So I mean, like, whoever is Spencer Ware, I know he knows the offense and stuff, but that's a hell of a transition. So we'll see how the Chiefs do tomorrow. I think losing Hunt on the football field, if they can continue to win, that'll definitely boost Mahomes up even more. So I mean, we'll definitely see, but I'll give Mahomes the edge for now.
Yeah, I think you put that in perfectly, man. I definitely have to agree with you. One thing I'll say is, man, if you haven't already checked your fantasy waivers, try to grab Spencer Ware, because last time he filled in for Jamal Charles a few years back, Spencer Ware went off. So I'm sure he still has him. He's not too old of a back. So
Ware is a nice player, man. He's a nice player, man.
Good. Yeah. So let's keep it pushing, man. Let's jump into this playoff picture really fast. Obviously, you can't take the Saints. You can't take the Saints after one loss. I mean, the Saints are still up there. They're still one of the main Super Bowl threats. Who would you throw some other Super Bowl threats out there, Rome? Right now, if you could see a team win the Super Bowl, who do you think's on path?
Hey, I'm gonna throw a curveball, man. I'm gonna say the Chicago Bears.
Hey, okay, I like that one.
And the reason I'm picking the Bears is for reasons why people are so hype on Dallas right now. Defense and running the football. The Bears defense is playing lights out right now, man. They just won with Chase Daniels, bro. Like, this defense is on another level, and I think that's largely due to Khalil Mack. It was already a pretty solid defense, and he really puts them over the top. And Trubisky, man, he looks like he's developing, but I'm not even going to put it all on him. He just needs to play a little bit like Alex Smith, play smart, don't turn it over. He's got Jordan Howard to hand the ball to you, man. So if the Bears can play old school football, run it and play defense, that the Cowboys just showed you that's the formula to beat the Saints. It's probably the formula to beat the Rams also. So I mean,
yeah.
I'm thinking the Bears might surprise some people come playoff time.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head right there, man. That's the formula. Everybody's loving all this high-powered offense, but don't forget, football is about the trenches. If you can dominate the trenches, remember, don't forget about the wave that Seattle Seahawks had a few years back. And the offensive wave that was going on at that time was kind of similar to what it is now. You had teams like the Patriots lighting it up, the Broncos with Peyton Manning were lighting it up. And then the Seahawks team came out of nowhere with this new style that nobody was really doing at the time. That's kind of the feel I get from the Bears, man. They got a throwback style. And one thing that's helping that train move fluently is that boy Tariq Cohen, man. Tariq Cohen is special, man.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's like a little lightning bug, man. He gets the ball. Like, he had a first down last week that I saw, a pivotal first down. It was the first down to win the game. And he caught the ball with a defender right in front of him, and the defender was literally just toast, man. One move, and Tariq Cohen got to field so fast. Like, his quickness is unbelievable. I like the Bears' chances, man. You get that team to the playoffs. You know, it reminds me of the formula that we had early on when the AP was churning and we got Chris Thompson involved. We had something nice going. Hopefully we can get back to our ways like that and, you know, maybe get into this conversation come the end of the season. So let's go. Let's jump into some final thoughts, man. Rome, give me some final thoughts for this Monday night game,
man. My final thought, man, is win or lose this Monday night game, Jay Gruden needs to win at least 3 more games, or we're going to have serious conversations about not only who the next quarterback might be, but who the next head coach might be. That's my final thought on today's pod. Is Gruden? This game is kind of a must-win from a Jay Gruden standpoint, not even from a Redskin make the playoff standpoint. Jay Gruden can't really afford to lose games in the division, especially the way we started out this season. I know Alex is gone. Even if we don't make the playoffs, we got to finish strong for Jay to stay in DC.
Yeah, I completely agree, man. Jay Gruden's seat just got a little hotter with the turnaround of the division. Like we said, man, a few weeks back, me and Rome were both pretty convinced that the Redskins had a good to great shot at winning the division. And crazy how fast things can change. And eventually you got to put some of this mediocrity, some of these primetime letdowns, you got to start pointing the finger at the coach. And Jay Gruden, he can't just keep getting these passes. I agree with you. We don't get at least to 9 wins and a wild card. I'll go that far. I need 9 wins and a wild card, or, man, Jay Gruden's seat is hot. I'm talking hot. So we'll see how that goes, man. Hey, it's been another great episode of Hail to the Culture. We appreciate everybody listening in. And like we said at the beginning, do not lose faith, Redskins Nation. The season is not over. We still got time. And a win Monday night could completely change our fortunes. So for Bryce and Rome, thank you all for listening. Hail to the Culture. We out.
Free world. Yeah. My hitters be moving and shaking to stay out the streets. Yeah. Your hitters be hating, your hitters be looking so weak. Yeah. My hitters be moving and shaking to stay out the streets. Yeah. Your hitters be hating, your hitters be looking so. Snuff the shoulder, snuff the loader, snuff the boots, snuff the money.